The Arizona Cardinals continued to clear cap space, but for who? Cardinals primed and ready to spend come the tampering window on Monday. We'll start to kind of figure out who the Cardinals could go after come free agency, Johnny Venerable.
Yeah, it's our big monster free agency preview. Mike Garafolo joins us. What's the news with all these quarterbacks? And did Mike LaFleur just make his best hire of the offseason? PHNX Cardinals on a Friday starts now. Hey, welcome in. Live from Studio K, presented by our friends at Circle K. It's the PHNX Cardinals podcast, your premier, number one in the world, Arizona Cardinal podcast. Like and subscribe. Leave us a 5-star wherever you get your programming. I'm Johnny Venerable. He's Brack. Noah Man behind the Mac. Friday before free agency. Plenty of news dropping as we speak. Cardinals clearing cap space. We're going to talk about it. Brack on a Friday. How we living?
We're living well. Things you love to see, people light it up with their supporter emojis. Exclusive, of course, to the members here for the PHNX Sports YouTube channel. I'm talking about AZ Moses. How about Jack Honcho, Schaff? See you. Hi, Deb. How about Cruz, The Frank, Snacks, Jenga Man, T. Boise, Terry Cleary, Desert Treble. How about we've got Z-Man, Derek Quimby. Good to see you, my guy. Andrew Viney. Han shot first, allegedly, and also Dante Benjamin, Cuff, Kerr. So many people. Jacob Tackett, ready to talk some Cardinals free agency, calm before the storm.
Hit that like button as we had breaking news before the show today. Boop, boop, boop. We speculated that it could happen given the robust cap hit, and it did. Dalvin Tomlinson, who was a free agent signing a year ago, full transparency, we like the move. He has been cut, released by the team following a lackluster, to put it mildly, 2025 campaign. He played all 17 games, but you'd never know it. Tomlinson out. The Cardinals, two schools of thought. Pre-June 1st, they get just under $10 million. Post-June 1st, they get a whopping $14.5 million. There it is. So we don't have clarity yet if it's pre or post. But here's what we do know. The Cardinals already flushed with cash. Get richer today. This was the biggest domino that we questioned would happen given both the lack of bodies on the defensive line and the recency in which he signed his deal. Dalvin Tomlinson out after just 1 year.
Yeah, there's a couple things here. If we talk about just Dalvin Tomlinson and his 1-year tenure with the Arizona Cardinals, yes, disappointing. As Johnny said, he is somebody that we pounded the table for after a slow start post Josh Sweat signing for the Cardinals' last free agency and their lack of addressing the interior of the defensive line. When Tomlinson got cut by the Browns, we told Monty Osfort to go after him. We don't know if he listened, but regardless, he signed Dalvin Tomlinson to that deal. And it was another NFL caliber defensive lineman entered this organization that's now going to exit the organization after just horrific, just poor play, just out of character, bad season for Tomlinson, falling on the heels of two poor performances in the last two seasons, and Justin Jones and Bilal Nichols, all NFL caliber defensive linemen. So this is something that I think Monty Ossenfort and Nick Rawlis, they're on the hook for this. And now they're going to have to kind of switch up how they maybe scout it and bring in, and then, of course, deploy going forward.
It's not a great free agent class for defensive tackles in terms of that marquee name or names. It's a solid defensive line class in the draft. Of course, the Cardinals' only top 30 visit bowl that we know about happens to be a defensive tackle, Caleb Banks, out of Florida, which very much in the fringe first-round territory. The Cardinals, I'm not connecting the dots here, do hold the 34th overall pick. So that's a position you immediately have to watch now, because the under contract defensive linemen are as follows: Dante Stills in a contract year, Darius Robinson, who has been a disappointment, to put it mildly, after 2 seasons, and the gem of the group, Walter Nolan, who we think tore his ACL and is coming back from major surgery. That's it. That's the group. Now, having said that, I applaud this move for a couple different reasons. Like Tomlinson, would you like him on the roster, maybe with different, better coaching this year defensively? We're going to get to that. Sure, you can't pay him what they were going to pay him this year. I mean, his cap hit was what, upwards of $16 million?
$16 million, yes.
You can't pay him that. Under no circumstances can you pay him that. Pay somebody like that the equivalent of like $4 to $6 million? Sure. The Cardinals need to be this year in the bracket of 1-year defensive lineman signings, whether it's the recently released Jonathan Allen, Javon Hargraves, any of those guys. I rallied on Twitter. He's 30 years old. He's played well for Raleigh. LJ Collier, bring him back on a 1-year deal, vet minimum. Go and do that and be strategic. And it may be a position that we may have to wait a bit. Like, I could see the Cardinals 3rd, 4th, 5th wave of free agency signing defensive linemen. I'd be okay with it. But then, of course, in the draft, beginning with that 2nd pick through the end of the draft, you need to bring in bodies, because right now, fair or not, there is a stigma with Nick Rallis. When he gets caliber defensive linemen that are proven, that are pros, they come here and do not perform. Now, they've got Pete out of Texas, defensive coordinator, coming to coach the defensive line. That will help wholeheartedly. The arrival of Tyrel Austin, that we're going to talk about later in the show, that's a godsend beyond godsends. The defensive coordinator for the Pittsburgh Steelers last 4 years, they're going to be much better coached. But right now, it's like kind of how I feel with the 3rd overall pick, Bo. I don't know how many more key resources you can invest on the defense with how unproven Nick Rallis is.
Yeah, it's tough to have guys come into this organization and leave worse off, right?
Yeah.
And as far as Tomlinson and that cap hit, it's like you can go find a replacement caliber player for a lot less.
Yeah.
You know, the same production, if not better. It's tough to get, less than what you got from Dalvin Tomlinson. And you look at like how he was deployed last year. He was kind of filling a lot more A gap than he's ever been kind of asked to do. And was it a product of they didn't have that spot, other options there, and they didn't, right? They let Elijah Simmons, our sweet, just voice of an angel Prince, leave, and he got plucked off their practice squad by the Bucs, and the Bucs, they get the benefits of that. But, was Dalvin Tomlinson asked to play more nose than he should have been asked?
Right.
If you look at his career splits, I mean, he hasn't played that much, more so, than he was asked last year. So Dalvin Tomlinson, he hits the free agent market, and the Cardinals open up close to $10 million in cap space. So they're looking for cap space now, Johnny. They're looking for it, not like if they did postmark this for June 1st, they wouldn't be able to get that. And they could do some roster maneuvering between now and then, but they wanted to open up this close to $10 million to have it on the ready come next week when they're exploring the free agent market during the tampering period. And that just kind of tells you the Cardinals, they're going to want to be aggressive, because they already had, some decent cap space, but they wanted to even further a little bit. So Monty Ossenfort could say, I want this position, and keep the change.
Like, why can Carice Tunga go and start for the Patriots on their Super Bowl team?
Right.
Like, why is Roy Lopez a key contributor outside of this organization? I feel like right now, this is the year where, now I don't want to say you go cheap, but you go cheap on the defensive line. And like, we have to have a decision with new coaching defensively on Darius Robinson. Like,
Mm-mm.
we got to know what you have and what you don't have. This is it for him. Walter Nolan, we expect to be back. Maybe this is probably not the case, but it could signify maybe he's ahead of schedule. Maybe he feels good about where he's going to be. Dante Still's contract year has been one of the few that has shined under Nick Rallis. Like, the biggest knock against what happened last year, and again, like, I put it as much as on Nick as I do as Dalvin, like, they could not stop the run.
Right.
Like, at the minimum, that's what Dalvin was supposed to do. So I would argue for the fourth consecutive offseason, Monty Ossenford is looking for defensive tackles. And for Monty Ossenford, like, fair or not, there has just been way too many misses in free agency. And that's what leads me to believe, as we kind of segue here, you're going to get some defensive signings, I think, on the Flyer deals. They're spending money on offense. He is going to put all of his eggs into the Mike LaFleur basket, rightfully so, because at the end of the day, he's an offensive coach. I think we're looking at one of like three positions. Quarterback, we're going to get to it. Offensive line, guard and or tackle. And if they decide to cut James Conner and get a starting running back. Like that to me feels like the play right now. You don't need a safety. You don't need any corners. I would argue you don't need any off-ball linebackers. You're not going to sign a crooked number edge rusher. There's no defensive tackles that are going to get multi-year deals, at least on the surface to me. Like, I look at this move. Let's start with the quarterback situation. Like, now you're going to have $50+ million to immediately go out and get the guy you want early next week.
Yeah, and we'll see how much, of that $50 million your quarterback could potentially, take out of that cap space, right? Is it a smaller chunk than you anticipated, or at least that, people were speculating? I mean, there was Jordan Schultz, bless him. He was out on the Twitter streets a week ago during the combine saying, like, it's a now foregone conclusion that Malik Willis is going to get $30 million a season. Now we're sitting back and we're saying, what? Who's driving that price up? Because I'm looking at the cash-strapped Miami Dolphins, who are still, I think before the moves they made today in the red, already got into the black with the releasing of their kicker and their fullback, but still a long way to go. And are they just going to wear it all out on a quarterback? Even if they did, I don't think they can free up enough space, depending on what they would do with Tua, to really kind of put the Cardinals in a position where they have to think about spending $25 to $30 million on Malik Willis. Like, people are throwing the Justin Fields contract out there, and I think there's the weariness, and it was voiced by Kurt Warner earlier this week. And I think that, with a respected voice like Kurt Warner, it kind of resonated with the NFL world, and people said, can we really invest this much money in such an unknown? I mean, this isn't even, Justin Fields coming off starting a bunch of games in Chicago and winning some games. Malik Willis is a very unknown, unproven commodity that, there's not that big of most robust market that people anticipated.
Let's get to Connor Hughes' comments, because he started today with kind of this bombardment. Remember, Connor broke the Mike LaFleur news that he expected him to end up in AZ, a couple weeks beforehand, and he was the front runner there. Connor kind of did a holding of court on Twitter and then a subsequent live stream earlier today. And the reason that it ties to the Cardinals is they have a lot of irons in the fire, similar to the Jets, unfortunately. And here is what Connor Hughes had to say earlier today on Twitter as it relates to the Cardinals and the Jets. Do we have that? Here it is. There's interest in Jacoby Brissett. The Jets would like to acquire Jacoby Brissett if the Cardinals can be convinced to part. But here's the key phrase. Was told that's doubtful. With Jimmy Garoppolo expected to stay in LA, JG signing with the Cardinals would change that. However, it is expected that Jimmy G is going to stay in LA as of right now, which is, I think, good news for all of us. Jimmy Garoppolo not coming here. But if Jimmy Garoppolo were to come here and Jacoby Brissett was available, then you would have to just do this mental gymnastics of saying, Bo, well, are they both then backups in either scenario? That's how I would read this.
Yeah, there's a lot of reading between the lines here and great reporting from Connor Hughes out there. New York. That Brissett. By the way, also within this reporting is that the Jets are looking to go maybe 2 short deals with veteran quarterbacks,
Right.
and that the leader in the clubhouse, maybe cover your ears, it's Carson Wentz, which is unbelievable. It was the ties to Frank Reich, but as far as how this kind of ties back to the Cardinals with Brissett, if you the one thing about Jimmy G, as you were kind of pointing out, is like he would probably only leave for a starting opportunity.
Yeah.
And if that's not the case, if he wants to stay in LA, he's fully content with being Matthew Stafford's backup. And I think Garafolo told us this maybe a couple weeks ago that he just likes living in LA. He likes the lifestyle. He's comfortable. So it would take something, an opportunity to get Garoppolo out of Hollywood. So I think you can kind of ease off the fear of that. And now turn your attention to, oh crap, like, could they run it back with Jacoby Brissett if they aren't able to land somebody else next week?
Yeah, I think if Jacoby Brissett is poised to stay, he's making $9 million on a 1-year deal, right? They know what they have in him, and specifically they know what they don't have. And we've been consistent with our take that Jacoby Brissett is better than Jimmy Garoppolo. But, like, I don't want them to trade Jacoby Brissett for a 5th rounder to the Jets if it means that they're signing Jimmy Garoppolo to be the starter. Mm-hmm. Like, if that's what has to happen, then don't do that. And then it's Jacoby and somebody else that likely is coming in on Monday. And the question is that Malik Willis? Is that Tyson Bagent? Who is that other individual? Because there's no chance, especially in this quarterback class, that it's Jacoby Brissett and like Drew Aller, or you're looking at another lost season. And Connor Hughes also said, and I thought this was very interesting because we had heard Geno Smith's name loosely connected as a fallback for the Cardinals. Geno Smith and his camp are pushing hard for Miami. Geno Smith is from the Florida area, wants to go to the Dolphins. I think that's a very realistic signing for them. As Mike's going to emphasize here in our interview in just a little bit, like, the Dolphins have no money. The money that they're going to free up would be for a Geno Smith-esque 1-year signing anyway.
Like a 1.3 guy again, right? Is he just like Kyler, where the Raiders are picking up most of the tab anyway?
Yes. So it would make all the sense in the world. Like, if you're Jeff Hafley and you want to have Quinn Ewers versus Geno Smith as opposed to Malik Willis, that makes much more sense given their timeline. Like, the Malik thing is interesting because it's the Cardinals and who else? And it are the Cardinals, and I'm going to put my foot in my mouth if it doesn't come to fruition. Could the Cardinals get Malik Willis for under $20 million? Could we be sitting here Monday and it's a 2-year deal and it's $35 million, $38 million with incentives, Pro Bowl incentive, starting game incentive, touchdown incentives? That, to me, I think is going to be much easier to swallow. And then it comes down to, like, Malik Willis coming here. Is it a competition with Jacoby Brissett? Like, an open competition? Is he anointed the starter? There's just so many unknowns right now, given that, like, teams like the Jets would acquire Jacoby Brissett to presumably come in and start for them.
If Malik Willis signs anything, it's going to still be more than Jacoby Brissett.
That's fair. Multi-year,
just kind of base it on who's making the most money. And I know you don't want to do that, but I think Cardinals fans would like to see that. Like, that's the experiment, right? That's what you're willing to see and come out. What does your hypothesis? Does it meet your? Does it come out and turn into your theory? I don't know. I mean, I think Malik Willis, the idea that he's going to get this closer to Sam Darnold contract than Justin Fields, I think that narrative is dead.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't seem like the Jets, who are the team that does have the cap wherewithal to do so, isn't in that market, isn't going to enter that market. We'll see about, the Falcons. Are the Falcons a team that could do that? They feel like Malik Willis could be their guy. They've got Penix. And, is Stefanski going to want to do that? I mean, I think they've got close to $30 million in cap space. they've got some work to do on that roster. Pittsburgh, you know, I know Rodgers went on McAfee earlier this week. It seems like Rodgers it's going to destined to come back to Pittsburgh, but do they want to play that song and dance again? All those things would have to change right before the tampering window opens. So, I mean, it just seems like the Cardinals at right now. I mean, as you talk about putting your foot in your mouth, I would say are the leaders in the clubhouse and do have an opportunity to get them at a lower cost than originally anticipated. Like I saw a predicted deal today. It was like 2 for $48 with about 34 guaranteed. Like if that's the deal, that is like, because that's putting you like just over $10 million in guarantees in 2027. Kyler Murray off the books. I mean, that is very palatable for the Cardinals and their fan base.
Yeah, Dan Graziano, and just full transparency, we posted it on PHNX Cardinals. He did predictions for free agents, and he predicted the Cardinals to get Malik, but the rest of his predictions were, I'm just going to call them like not great. Like I don't think a lot of them are going to come true based on like what we're seeing around the infrastructure here. Like I think Alec Pierce is bound to be a Patriot, and he had him going to the Chargers. And again, there's logic and like filling in needs. But here's what Graziano said: 2 years, $44 million, $32 million guaranteed. Prediction: Arizona Cardinals. Like, there it is. This would represent a $1 million per year improvement over the contract of Justin Fields. And again, like he doesn't say anything tangible, like linking him, Mike LaFleur, Matt LaFleur, Hackett. It's just like, here's a write-up on Malik Willis, and I'm going to connect the dots here. But I do think like the more I looked into Malik today, like he's not connected to any other franchise right now. Like nobody. And Bo, we listened to Matthew Berry's podcast earlier today, and he was very a matter of fact that he expects Malik Willis, Bo, to land with the Arizona Cardinals. Like they didn't even entertain another team. And they were talking about it from a fantasy perspective of Malik with Marv and Mike and Trey.
But he did say close to $30 million or $30 million.
But that could be the numbers he was hearing at the time. But just I'm going at it from a mindset of like, well, the Cardinals are going to do what it takes to get him based on like, if a team says 15 million, okay, we'll go 18 million, something like that. I would be shocked if this doesn't happen, given the following. And Barry brought this up. The pressure on Monty Ossenford, the fan complacency, the pressure from Bidwell, the familiarity from Mike and Matt. I mean, just there are too many connections here, and he didn't have that with any other franchise. And we thought that this morning, and then the team cuts a starting nose tackle to free up $10 million today, right now. That they could have post June 1st him for $15 million, and they said, no, we need this money yesterday. We want it now.
Well, and if you look at Noah, if you don't mind, put up the other potential cap casualties here. I mean, as you get Dalvin Tomlinson, which is it's under 10, not 14.5. That's the post June 1st. But where the Arizona Cardinals stand right now is the ability to be aggressive, and I think that they've got a guy like Evan Brown and maybe even Sean Murphy Bunting as placeholders. So as soon as they start to maybe spend this money, if they land another guard, they'll cut Evan Brown.
Yes.
And then you'll get that close to $5 million in cap space that you need. But they wanted to free up to be able to go out there and spend. And it seems like spend on multiple guys to get it done. But as far as I'm concerned, the biggest thing that it's going to come down to, did Matt LaFleur give Mike LaFleur the green light and say, Malik Willis is a starting caliber quarterback, and he will help you set the tone in your first season. Just like he did with, you need to hire Nathaniel Hackett to find success in your first season. It's like when I look at this market, Mike, speaking as Matt, Johnny can be Mike. I'm the better looking, more successful brother in this scenario.
No, you've been fired. You're Nate Hackett here.
You need Malik Willis. This is your option. I can't bring him back. I'd love for him to land with you and continue to build off of what we what we were building in Green Bay, and he can be your guy. Because if they don't go out there and Malik Willis signs for less than $20 million to be the Dolphins' next quarterback, that's going to tell me that Mike LaFleur didn't get like a full, just huge, confident talk from his brother, Matt, about Malik Willis.
Agreed. 1,000% agreed. Because then it's like, what do we? It's the most important position in pro sports.
Right.
Monty Ossenford, is not in the same position as Mike LaFleur. He's just not. He has to win. How are you going to win games this year? How are we putting together the best team to win games in 2026? Is it running it back with the guy who won 1 game out of 11 games? And I get it. Didn't have a run game. Defense wasn't great. They know what Jacoby Brissett is a backup. They signed him last year to be a backup.
If they don't find some sort of what would be perceived as a viable solution or with upside, and Monty Ossenfort has 3 wins under his belt without quarterback named Kyler Murray in the lineup, then what are we doing here? Why is he still employed?
Right.
During his tenure, the Cardinals have 3 wins with a quarterback not named Kyler Murray, and they're going to go, and we're going to run it back with a guy who just has 1 of those. Right? I mean, it's just, it doesn't make any sense. Is it even 3?
It's 2.
Yeah, it's 2.
Dobbs beat Dallas and Jacoby Brissett beat Dallas. That's it. I mean, if that was the case, you just should have kept Kyler Murray. You don't cut Kyler Murray if the plan is to start Jacoby Brissett or Jimmy Garoppolo.
Mm-hmm.
Irresponsible. Malik Willis as a fun placeholder, roll the dice for 1 year and try to get your franchise back on track. That's the most plausible thing. I guess the Tyson Bagent thing, there's no juice with that right now. Nothing. And I feel like if that was going to transpire, we knew that Jacoby teams were inquiring, but I believe truly that if the Cardinals are saying no to offers on Jacoby Brissett, then they expect him to be their quarterback too this year. Then it's what's the point of trading Jacoby and signing Jimmy and going through that song and dance and then having to then sign Malik as well? I mean,
it's making the same mistakes over again. It's just the mistakes you made on the defensive side of the football where you're just well, Gannon will figure it out. You're making the same with your offensive guy in Mike LaFleur, and he's supposed to have this ability to develop quarterbacks along with Hackett. And it's just you're giving him too much credit in a league where it is just you don't get any grace. You have to figure it out. And if you set him up to struggle out of the gates, who knows what we kind of know what the ramifications are. The ramifications could be a short tenure here in the desert.
Hit that like button. We got our interview with Mike Garafolo around the corner. It's PHNX. So fired up to talk to you about our friends. You know them, Gila River Resorts and Casinos at Wild Horse Pass. But how about this? It's a Vegas residency. Gila is introducing Vegas vibes in Phoenix from now through April. The Vegas residency at Gila River Resorts and Casinos brings in the energy, attitude, and excitement of Las Vegas straight to you. Enjoy exclusive concerts, extended DJs, showgirls, chef driving, dining, pop-up bars, and so much more, just like those surprise cameos. Who they're going to be, even we don't know, but you got to check them out now. Plus, don't miss the fabulous Corvette giveaway and special perks for loyalty members. I'm going to tell you right now, the fabulous Corvette giveaway going on right now through April 24th, 4 Corvettes at 4 different casinos and 4 big chances to win. Qualifying goes down tonight from 6 to 8 p.m. Check it out right now. And of course, check out all the details. We bring the Vegas, only at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playatgila.com for a full calendar of events, including Whispers, our 2026 NFL draft party that could very well be a 2-night event, but it's definitely going down on that Thursday. Check them out right now at playatgila.com.
Unbelievable. Spoiler alert from Johnny Venerable. A little inside information there. Look, it's going to be a beautiful weekend here in the Valley of the Sun. No combine, no football. What are you putting off that project for any longer? Get after it and get to the Window Depot today. Any kind of renovation. We're talking kitchens, bathrooms. How about full remodel? The Window Depot is your one-stop shop. Sure, they started in Windows in 2002, but they are way more than a Windows store now. We're talking windows, of course. How about doors, skylights, cabinets, countertops, sinks, you name it, an inventory in stock and ready to pick up. And if you need something custom, they got you covered there too. Check them out. Contractors love them for their job site ready quantities. And of course, no membership. That expert service, you get it no matter what. Homeowners love them because, well, they've got their designers in-house that will help bring your vision to life for free. Check it out right now, thewindow.depot.com. Just like the Ohio State, it's thewindow.depot.com. Get your project started today. Arizona Cardinals be aggressive in free agency once the tampering window opens on Monday. Let us know all things Cardinals, NFL Insider, of course, the insiders. Check it out wherever you find, of course, YouTube, social media. Mike Garafolo. Mike, how we doing, my man?
What's up, guys? Make it back from Indy okay?
I mean, not unscathed is what happens. 20-degree weather after living here in Arizona and gorging ourselves on
nothing.
Alcohol and meat. Yeah, we're enjoying it. We're sweating. We have meat sweats from Indy, and we have sweats as it relates to this free agency period. Because I've heard names affiliated to this team at quarterback that I don't personally love. I don't know how you feel about it. Let's talk about Jimmy Garoppolo here, because there's competing messages as it relates to like LA letting him go if he came to Arizona, reuniting with Mike LaFleur. I'm sure Mike wants that, but like, would they look at him as a viable starter? Or is it just, let's get Jimmy in the quarterback room?
No, I mean, I think if you make that move, he's competing for or handed your starting job. There's some work to be done. They only have one under contract, right? Jacoby's the only guy they got under contract, if I'm not mistaken. So there's multiple spots to be had, and there's multiple ways of doing that and creating competition. I see some guys in the market that are, not necessarily guys that you should have. I mean, the guy with the clearest path to a starting job, I think, of this cluster of guys like Kirk Cousins and Tua is Kyler, but obviously that's not going to be an option there. I made the joke the other day that 31 teams should be interested in Kyler Murray. 32 really should. How about the car? Hey, all right, now that we cleared out the area, come on back. If Jimmy comes in, I think it's some kind of competition, and I just feel like they're in a position where you can draft a guy relatively late. You don't have to do it early. See if you get something there. If you don't, and maybe it's not the greatest season, you're setting up for a good draft pick next year. So as far as Jimmy goes, there's a certain comfortability, I'm sure, with being with the Rams right now and being the backup. And if Stafford gets hurt, you go in, you're playing for a top flight team with a chance to compete and win the Super Bowl. Certainly the way they're attacking the offseason. We heard in Indy they were expected to be aggressive, and they already have been in a lot of ways. So it's a tough sell to me if I'm Jimmy, that I'm leaving that to come and be a starter and not for the long term, and may not have the clearest path right away either.
Yeah, they're quarterback tied to this team. We've talked to you quite a bit about him, Malik Willis, but with Kyler Murray and the rest of the league, whoever signs him not going to do the team any favors, going to be around that $1.3 million mark. So the Cardinals not really getting any relief there. Yeah. Can they pursue a guy like Malik Willis, who's going to command, I don't know what his market, how it's materialized since we last spoke, but I guess that's a two-parter. Malik Willis, are the Cardinals in on him, and what could they spend on him, or what should they anticipate on spending?
If you get him for Justin Fields or less, and I don't know that there's really going to be this market driving it that far north. I don't see it right now for Malik Willis. So this notion of $30 million or whatever, I think it's going to be more around 20, if not south of that. And I saw Kurt Warner with a post last week about how when you really break it down, there wasn't that much football, which a lot of times for a backup quarterback looking to get paid, that's the formula, right? You only show them a little bit and you hide a lot still behind the curtain. And it's like, you don't have these long opportunities to show the warts and play well in the short term. Now you can go the opposite, right? You can play and you don't play well, and then it's really bad. And in Malik Willis's case, he played well. To me, it still makes a lot of sense. I know that, people mentioned him for Minnesota. Minnesota, one, does not have the financial capabilities to do a lot of stuff. And two, they're looking for somebody on a 1-year deal. So I just don't see the line of 5 people waiting up for Malik Willis to drive his price up. Got to be in the mix somewhere. Would make sense for me in the desert. Look, I don't think I saw some speculation about Jacoby. I don't think they're going to trade Jacoby Brissett. I think they're going to hold on to Jacoby Brissett, and he's still going to be a member of the organization in some form or fashion, whether it's competing or the clear number 2, or depending on how this goes. But that'd be my guy right now if you made me pick, because I know we talked last time. Like, who's your guy going to be? My best guess right now would be Jacoby Brissett.
Which would, I think, I rate this fan base that watched, and fair or not, watched him win one game over 11, 12 weeks last year.
Yeah.
I mean, and he hasn't played for Mike LaFleur. Let's talk about the Miami Dolphins here quickly, because they're the logical competitor for Malik Willis, or certainly, with the connections with Jeff Hafley, their new general manager. They brought in people from the front office that were there when he drafted him in Tennessee. But as it stands right now, they have like negative cap space or right at 0. Now they're going to try to move Tua's contract or just outright release him. Like the Dolphins, do you feel like are true competition for Malik Willis, or are they going to go the route of Quinn Ewers and like a $5 to $7 million vet?
That's everything that everything I heard. It sounded that way from the beginning, and the communication that they had with potential coaches that were going to wind up there, and the plan from the outset. It sounds like they understand that there's going to be short-term pain there for long-term gain, and that roster never felt like a cohesive thing to me. It always sort of felt, thrown together rather than, oh, here's the vision for what we want the Dolphins to be. At least over the last, and Chris Greer wound up suffering for that as he was fired. So I think there's a lot of work to be done to build it in the image of what Jeff Hafley and what John Eric Sullivan, the new GM, want it to be. And if you're going to do that, somebody's going to wind up with the first overall pick. Somebody's going to wind up with Arch Manning. And as much as there were holes poked in his game throughout the season, I thought he progressed throughout the course of the year. And I think he's going to be the clear-cut number 1 when all is said and done next year, and the potential to turn a franchise around for decades.
You called it last year at this time. You said the Cardinals were going to aggressively address the defensive line. Threw a lot of cap dollars at it. Dalvin Tomlinson, Calais Campbell, first-round pick at it. Walter Nolan. You get a sense of where this team could be aggressive this offseason?
Yeah, I think there's some work to be done on the offensive line, and I think that's where you're going to see him. So it may not be the sexiest free agency when it comes to how things go for the Cardinals. Look, the sexiest free agencies are sometimes set up for teams that are like we can strike and we can really complete the picture here. And the Cardinals have got work to do at some key spots and some unsexy spots. Paris Johnson just finished his 3rd year, right? If I got my math correctly. So that's a potential free agent contract extension to be done this offseason here. And so I think it's going to be about really building a strong base, getting some guys in on both sides of the trenches too. I think they'll be active in the defensive line market as well, and really starting to build this thing out. And then next year could be the year where we're talking about them as being one of the sexier teams in the offseason.
They released a couple veterans yesterday, Akeem Davis-Gaither, Bilal Nichols. They've got over $50 million in cap space. We expect more cuts. One name that has escaped is, at least right now, James Conner has not been released. He's going to be 31 years old. Mikey's got, I think, a $9 million cap hit, with majority of that non-guarantees post June 1st. Do you think that they bring him back on a smaller number, assuming that, before free agency, he's not released? That would at least make sense on the surface level, outside of some of these backs that are going to get big, price tags here this offseason.
Yeah. If I'm him, I think I want to resist any possibility for a restructured a pay cut. Let's call it a pay cut.
Mm-hmm.
I want to resist any of that. And I'd love to test myself out in this market here, because with him and where he is and what he can provide, I think there's the chance for him to go out and make some decent money for teams that can compete right now that need help at the running back position. So that's the way I would play it if I was James Conner, if they approached me for anything. And I think there's going to be, it's interesting because I don't think it's going to be the financial boon for a lot of these guys in the running back market that they thought it was going to be. Like even Kenneth Walker is not going to be up by what Breece Hall wound up. If I'm Breece Hall, I'd run to sign that tag, like 14.2 million or whatever it is. Like I would gladly take that for this upcoming season. The old bet on, like, you're betting on yourself with 14 million in your pocket. That's an easy bet to make. So I don't know that there's going to be huge money out there, but there are a lot. There's going to be a lot of movement, and there's going to be teams that can bring in a guy that can do what James Conner can do. Can be physical, can be the guy that runs between the tackles for you. And that's the advice that I would give James Conner if you ask me about them approaching him about his contract.
So wrap some things up as far as the Kyler Murray era with the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah.
It's going to be somewhere around $50 million. Do we have a sense of if it's going to be pre-June 1st or post-June 1st? Are they going to absorb it all now? And, would you qualify this as a bad breakup?
No, not as bad. No, what did you think in his statement when he talked about the 77-year drought?
Yeah.
Did you think that was a little?
Sure, of course.
Okay, all right. Because nationally, it was like, oh, what a classy statement from Kyler, and I was like, felt like a little jab in there. So and I'm glad that you guys are agreeing with me because that's the way that I read it.
Right.
But not terrible. I've seen these; they've been worse before. And if I'm the Cardinals, I take it all. Like all the cap space they've got, I take the hit. Give it to me now. Take it all on the chin and get it out of the way and create yourself even more wiggle room next season. So I don't know. I have not heard definitively what they plan to do with that, but that's the way that I would approach things because it's 60% of what they've got available right now. But you talked about it. There's more cuts potentially coming as well. But I would love to just get it out of the way and move on. He's
going to end up in Minnesota, you think?
He's one of the options, that's for sure. I know that. He's one of the options. Geno Smith is an option there as well. There could be some, out of left field. They're not looking to make a big move, though. They're looking to, and that's why Kyler fits because, it's the veteran minimum deal, and I can't believe we're going to be able to get this guy on that deal. It's going to be up to Kyler. He's going to have some options, and if every quarterback wants to get there, if I'm Kyler Murray, I would want to push my way there. That's indoors. With all those guys to throw to, an excellent offensive system, a guy that's shown the ability as a head coach to rejuvenate players, to rejuvenate Sam Darnold. The only thing, and I know that this is a question in Minnesota, the only thing is, and this was being talked about, and as of yesterday, this was still being talked about. How do they want to approach this? Because if they bring in Kyler Murray, that may lose J.J. McCarthy. But if you bring in somebody else that maybe is not going to be a guy that's going to be around for a long time. Because Kyler, if he goes there, he plays well, he could be their new franchise quarterback. Some other guys, if they're on the latter end of their career or whatever, you bring them in, you could still keep JJ alive. And I know that they'd love to do that if possible. I just feel like if Kyler goes there, plays well, you're going to lose JJ.
I think that's it, Johnny. Other than that,
well, let me follow up.
Yeah.
Malik Willis doesn't go to Arizona. Where's he playing next year?
Ugh. If he doesn't go to Arizona, the numbers, even if he goes to Arizona, the numbers are probably lower than at that point, we made the connection with him in Miami, and I know Miami didn't want to go the expensive route. That makes a lot of sense to me.
So the Cardinals are the place he can cash in.
No. I'm saying if he's not going to Arizona and he's not we know they're not going to spend big for him, right? Like the effort would be in a deal a lot less than a lot of folks have projected, and I don't get the sense that they want to go big for him. But if it comes down into our ballpark, then we can sort of have that conversation and that consideration. So he's one of the more fascinating free agents to me because I don't think it's going to be exactly what he thought it was going to be, and it may be a destination that we're not necessarily looking at right now. And the Jets got to figure out what they want to do at the quarterback position. Would you want to go there? It's half intriguing because Frank Reich is there, and that's a good coach. And he may not be the first domino either. The first domino is Kyler, right? That seems to be. We thought, look at the free agent market. Oh, Malik Willis is leading the way. Great, yes, but I think Kyler, from his what he can bring at a small number, is going to be the first domino in this one.
Man. Well, and Kyler can't be officially signed until the Cardinals cut him, and they have not done that yet.
Right.
Is he the first domino maybe for every other team minus the Cardinals? Because the Cardinals aren't going to sign him. Maybe they can be like, well, we're going to go about looking for our guy, and he can take his time, maybe doing a tour.
Well, I think they'd still like to trade him, right? They'd still like to find a way to do that, and maybe teams are saying, well, he's not going to come here. Can we make a move to potentially trade for him? It's just you're going to have to now. It's all about taking on the money, which is making him less attractive based on what they had seen with the release and the fact that they can get him for a lot cheaper. Like that's the biggest sell for Kyler Murray right now. Do
you think there's a chance that like the Vikings are like, well, we want him, we're going to get him, and the Jets are like, well, we'd love Kyler Murray. Here's a 5th rounder.
Maybe. And he doesn't have a no trade clause in that contract. So it's not like he can sit there and say, well, block it or anything. Kirk Cousins had that last year, which was a big factor in that whole process. Kyler can't do that. And I mean, if I'm the Jets, maybe I got to pay a little bit of that money. They got to take on $20 million or whatever it is, make it a little more palatable for the Cardinals and get myself ahead of the line. That would be the ultimate twist in all this thing, because that would throw a lot of places for a loop. I'll put it to you that way.
Yeah. I mean,
and then, by the way, if you get that money,
right
off of that, if you're the Cardinals, you get some money, then you can use that on Malik Willis. Then it's like, okay, now we've got house money, so to speak, that we thought maybe we weren't going to have.
And they'd probably be willing to buy down whatever, because otherwise they're stuck with the full bill.
Who?
The Cardinals. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
Any dollar you get is gravy at this point. So
unbelievable insight. I can't wait. I mean, is it just a nightmare hours for you starting yesterday?
Starting what was yesterday? Thursday? Yeah, starting early in the week. I was up because Cam Curl got done this morning, and we thought it was gonna be done last night, and we're staying up till. Anytime it's a West Coast team, it's like, oh, you're adding 3 hours of like this could go till 2 a.m. and it's not unreasonable that they would do business at 11. Thankfully, it was an East Coast agent, so I was like, okay, that'll at least keep it in the normal ballpark. So we were up last night waiting for that one. It wound up not happening till the morning. It's tough, but I say it all the time. I'd rather have it this way than the baseball writers have it, which is that the stuff is just hanging over their heads for months on end. And you never know, like over major holidays, it could happen whenever. There's been some moves on Christmas, I remember. So I'd rather have it 3 days and done. It's 3 days of hell, and I don't leave this chair for very much. And you feel horrible after those 3 days. But then, like, once we get to Wednesday, like the start of the league year is Wednesday. It's like, oh, everything's done by Wednesday night. We're pretty much wrapped, and then it's just cruising from there. So watch us on NFL Network. We're on every day, Monday to Wednesday. We start on Sunday. I don't know what time, but I think we're 2 hours on Sunday, 6 to 8 if I'm Eastern. I know Monday starts with Good Morning Football and goes all the way through Insiders. So we are on for, I think it's 14 hours. I'm not mistaken.
Man, we'll be dialed in all the way along the way. We appreciate it.
I think it's 12 hours a day. 12 hours every day, Monday, Wednesday.
That's it. Tremendous insight, though. Mike Garafolo. Next time we'll talk to you, we're gonna have some new Cardinals on this team to break down. Can't wait. And then we'll be talking top 30 visits.
We'll have definitive answers. I'll start to get those. I know we like when I make those calls, it's like now I have to specifically ask Cardinals. And then we get the answers for you. So.
Thanks, Mike.
We got to shut Johnny up about Jeremiah Love, but
never
make his day.
As I make my pre-show measurements, as I get ready to go, I'm like, okay, I need a little bit of maybe, I don't know, electrolytes, B vitamins. For not a premium price, I go and pick up a Prime. Circle K. I go around the corner. I pick up one of these bad boys, under $2, cheapest Prime in town, but it goes beyond that. And I'm going to tell you right now, think beyond the pump when it comes to Circle K and big savings. Of course, if you become a member of the Inner Circle, you're saving 25 cents per gallon. But this, how about now? We're doing it big time. 79-cent Polar Pop, 99-cent Froster, becoming a member of the Inner Circle. How do you get? Look at my guy, Bo Brack. He's got his Polar Pop. It's ready to go. He's caffeinated. What do you got going on right there, Bo?
Oh, this is a fantastic caffeinated drink. Going Diet Mountain Dew.
Wow.
Yeah.
Gotta watch those sugars. I mean, you want the caffeine. I'm right there with you. I'm a Diet Coke guy. 79-cent Polar Pop, 99-cent Froster, buy 2, get 1 free Monster, 16-ounce, and then you get that exclusive Ultra Punk Punch, buy 2, get 1 free Celsius 12 and 16-ounce. Save 25 cents per gallon when you buy not 1, not 2, 3 Coca-Cola products at 20 ounces a product. And of course, the $3, $4, and $6 meal deal. Join the Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for more details. The home of PHNX Cardinals pre-show beverages, Bo.
It's fantastic. Look, if you're maybe not looking for all those calories, maybe not even you're scared of a little bit of a hangover, why don't you check out the all-in-one from Pure Edibles, the collab everybody didn't know they needed, but absolutely do need. It's talking about Noble Road collab right now. Tower Station IPA all-in-one. That's right. Noble Road's new Tower Station. That's right. I believe it's Mother Road. Love Mother Road. Noble Herb Dispensary. But look, you got the all-in-one, and it's from Pure Edibles, and you know it's legit. It's that citrusy, piney hops that you love with a smooth THC twist. No waiting, just happy hour whenever you want it. And right now, or anywhere, it's happy hour. Jump in, get your feet wet, but not wet. Do it with, of course, the newest one, the Mother Road collaboration with Pure Edibles Tower Station IPA all-in-one. The thing that's great about, of course, Pure Edibles, it's in 130 dispensaries across our great state of Arizona, born and bred here and continuing to just make big waves as far as the edibles and the gummies go right here in State 48. We're talking about Pure Edibles. Go find one of course, Pure Edibles in the one of 130 dispensaries statewide. Grab yourself the Pure Edible products and the Tower Station all-in-one. Check it out and cheers.
I think there you go. I'm muted.
Yeah.
Hit that like for our guy, Mike G, debriefing his hit with us. What do you make of the comments on the quarterback? I mean, it doesn't feel like there's any clarity on Malik Willis right now.
No, it seems like it's a murky, muddled up market for Malik. It really is. And who's gonna drive it up?
Right.
Mike Garafolo is skeptical that Malik Willis is going to have like this robust market where there's going to be a bidding war that's going to get him to, starting caliber quarterback money, which is, $30 million and north of that, where it really feels like Jeremy Fowler dropped this the first time, the Justin Fields comp from last year, or it could be south of Justin Fields' deal just due to the lack of experience and reps and the amount of teams or lack thereof to try to create some sort of bidding war. So it's really going to be fascinating. It seems like the Cardinals have a number post Kyler Murray that they're willing to spend. And if Malik Willis fits that price point, he'll be a Cardinal. And if it gets somehow driven out of there, they'll have to turn their attention elsewhere.
I just feel like with the sense of urgency that they're cutting players like Dalvin Tomlinson, fair or not, who played all 17 games, who was a starter for them, who is part of a position group that you have no bodies left.
Right.
I mean, it's just a wreckage, a defensive tackle. They're freeing up money to be active.
Mm-hmm.
And if the plan was not Malik Willis and you're going to go and get another C-tier QB, but you're still going to go out, let's say you sign one of the high-priced guards, you don't have to cut Dalvin Tomlinson to do that. You've got money. And we're assuming that Evan Brown, like I had heard, no disrespect, because I know he had personal issues at the end of the year.
Yeah.
I had heard like Evan Brown had fallen hard out of favor last year with the coaching staff. And like they thought he fell off.
As his play.
Yes.
As far as his play.
He just fell off a cliff physically.
Yeah.
Like I would be shocked if he's on this team. $5 million. Like last year, he was if you take it a baseball term, like a negative WAR player.
Yeah.
And then we know James Conner is either cut and it's going to free up $7 million or back at a reduced rate. And you heard Garafolo, he's like, if I was James Conner's agent, just cut me and I'll go play elsewhere.
Yeah.
And then Sean Murphy-Bunting, like I don't think is on the team, but you've got over the cap, like accounting for $7 million. It's like, that's outdated. Like the number that they really have, I don't think is out there. But I'm going to tell you right now, I think the number is closer to $60-70 million in the blink of an eye, like easily. And again, and that's taking on all of Kyler Murray's dead cap.
Yeah, I mean, because you were already going to just account for his salary,
right?
And that's about what it's going to be, right? Pre or post. And I think Garafolo's right. Like you probably just wear that one this season and just free yourself of Kyler Murray beyond 2026.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you can get him around 20, doesn't that seem like a fair risk?
Yeah. I mean, like
a smart gamble. I mean, it's just, to me, crunching the numbers, and maybe I'm missing something, and they still have to figure out what they're going to do with Tua. Like, how does Miami do that? And how do they bring in a guy like Malik Willis and say, hey, we're going to bring in, you're going to be really our only signing. You're going to be like the lone wolf.
There's no chance.
And the roster in place, like people in like around the NFL, insiders like Garafolo basically have been hearing that the Dolphins understand where they stand because of this Tua contract, and it'd be virtually impossible. Everybody else wants to set them up with all these dance partners that, they have no business, being connected to. So where's the market for Malik Willis? And I think that, like, if he becomes a guy that isn't going to be kind of given the starting reins or isn't going to be given, close to $20 million, it probably gets a lot of other teams back in the conversation. But if you're a team that can separate yourself by offering one or both of those things, I think you got a pretty good chance in landing him.
Just say it out loud. The Cardinals are going to go into 2026, and this is no disrespect to Mike. He's just speculating, with Jacoby Brissett as their quarterback.
Right.
With a new head coach who hasn't coached him before. Jacoby Brissett was signed by Monty Ossenford last year to be a backup.
Right.
That was the perception of him at the time. He was a backup that was benched for Drake May. He's a backup. He's a high-end backup. He could be the best backup at the NFL. You can't campaign your team around Jacoby Brissett. And as far as Miami goes, if this is correct via over the cap, if Tua is a pre-June 1st cut, his dead cap is $100 million. And they're going to add 25, 20, even $15 million on top of that with Malik Willis. Now, if he's post-June 1st, the number is $67 million.
Oh, wow. What a deal.
I think the Malik Willis to Miami thing never had legs. I mean, like, they're trying to free up money. They're cutting kickers and fullbacks this morning. Right. They still have to account for Bradley Chubb, who I believe is going to be a post-June 1st signing, so you don't get that right away.
Right.
I
damn near impossible.
It is. And if it's not, to your point, if it's not Arizona, it would be Pittsburgh getting shunned by Aaron Rodgers, Atlanta for a half a season. I don't even know. I feel like we're going to be sitting here Monday. I really do believe this.
Yeah.
And the deal is going to come in, and it's going to be digestible, and it's going to make sense, and it's going to have incentives, and everybody's going to, in the national media, just like they're doing with Kyler. Oh, the Vikings are a Super Bowl contender with Kyler Murray, even though people buried Kyler Murray throughout his tenure with this franchise. Oh, Kyler Murray, look at how bad the rest of the team was, and Kyler Murray hasn't thrown a deep ball in 18 months.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be doing the same thing Monday. It's like, well, it was always Malik to the Cardinals. It just made too much sense. It's like, come on, guys.
Yeah, this was their option A, B, and C.
Right.
And the fantasy football, analysts and pundits are going to be salivating about the idea of Malik Willis in this offense. Getting to throw to Trey McBride and Michael Wilson and Marvin Harrison Jr., and then we'll see what they do as far as running back. But it just seems like, and I'll say it again, they are the leader in the clubhouse. It's just, what's the score? What are they gonna card? What's going to be the score on the card when they turn it in, and what's the final deal going to look like? And somebody comes out of here and is going to do it and make a riskier play for him, then like I can't fault Monty. Like Monty has to be able to pivot elsewhere.
Well, that's my question for you is, let's say whether it's because they don't love him or the numbers get crazy, even though like they have money, they can do whatever they want now. Like I love these tackles and guards and defensive players we're going to talk about. None of that matters if your quarterback room is shit. Excuse my language. Like, it doesn't matter.
Right.
It does not matter.
No, and Monty, like to my point earlier, needs to know. He should know that. He's got 2 wins without Kyler Murray.
I'm going to tell you right now, though, and I have PTSD, and I know this is different, but man, how he's handled this quarterback situation since he got here has been bad. I mean,
no doubt about it. The Colt
McCoy thing in 2023, trying to get Dobbs, bluffing over like $300,000, and then having to trade for Dobbs, and then trading Dobbs and starting Tune, and then trading for Desmond Ridder. I mean, like, it has not been good.
And that's where you hope, like, voice of logic and reason in Mike LaFleur come, and obviously an extension to Matt LaFleur and Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan. No, you can't F around with that position.
No. Let me ask you this. So let's fast forward, because I don't think Jimmy Garoppolo ends up here. I think he stays in L.A.
Right.
I think there's too much smoke with that. I think he wants to be in L.A. and just kind of coast with Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, just be a good-looking man in Hollywood.
It's like the Gus Bradley thing. Like, I don't really want to try this year. Okay, who is this team signing? What are they?
So let's start to do our quarterback musical chairs if we could. No, let's pull that up. Let's start to try to do this about 48 hours from tampering period. Okay, so let's put Kyler in Minnesota.
Yep.
And I guess for this argument, this exercise, Malik Willis landed in Miami.
Sure. And we probably need to add Geno to this, which is gross. But
yeah, I mean, Geno could be Jets. He could be in Miami. He could be in Atlanta. I think you could put Derek Carr as one of the 2 vets in New York. I think you could put Aaron Rodgers back in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And we'll see. Like, Atlanta seems like a decent landing spot for Mac Jones.
Or Flacco until Penix comes back.
Yeah. I think your options become like either a trade for Bajent, Kirk Cousins, and Derek Carr. Like,
I agree.
Those are my plan B, C, and D.
Would all of them come in with a leg up over Jacoby Brissett?
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, Kirk Cousins over Jacoby Brissett, Derek Carr over Jacoby. It sounds like Derek Carr's market is like dead, though.
Yeah.
Have you been like he has no juice right now? I wonder if he is cooked physically. Because it got around, his shoulder was messed up, and of course he and his brother do this like great value Kelsey brother podcast where, like, with all due respect, and nobody's listening to it, but only people want to talk about it when it's like, is Derek going to play? Derek, I didn't say that if you end up the QB of this team. But like, he's like, I'm healthy now. It's like, the teams will tell you if you're healthy. Like, we need to see his arm. I don't know. Gino will be at the Wendy's. He has a giant lined up with the penalty. Did you see that Wendy's, the fast food chain, quote tweeted a post about Geno Smith telling them that they have an opening?
Yeah. Wendy's has elite Twitter game. It does. And McDonald's and whatever their CEO was doing with those little baby bites doesn't. But look, got the people talking. I don't think that, there's not a ton of market there for Derek Carr. So, this is a guy that went out of the league, not exactly with a lot of people, even his current team, making any big to do about him retiring. Right. And, him coming back, like, you have to put him in a really good situation to be successful. I mean, it's just, and he has to be healthy. Yeah. Honey, I was listening to the podcast, those 2 brothers in the NFL. Oh, the Kelseys? No, the Cars. It's like, that's when you know you
have
too deep. You're in too deep. Yeah.
People asking, can we get no guy on camera? We absolutely cannot. No, that's where we draw the line. Hit that like button. You and I probably should do official predictions. We'll do them after Super Chats, but we have to talk about this because this like flew under the radar. and it's the most significant thing this team did today. And I'll go without saying, like, this is probably the most significant coaching hire on staff since Clayton Adams. And fair or not, something that Jonathan Gannon either couldn't do or wouldn't do. Mike LaFleur has hired as a senior defensive head coach consultant Tyrel Austin, who has been the defensive coordinator for the Pittsburgh Steelers for the last 4 years. He's got over 30 years of NFL experience. He's in his 60s. He coached for the Cardinals once upon a time. He's straight up, he's joining Nick Rallis' staff as senior defensive assistant, I'm going to guess assistant head coach, and joining a staff that right now on paper, remember when we asked, is this staff better than last year's staff? Bang the drum. It is way better now, especially after you added the defensive line coach who was the head coach or DC at Texas in Pete Kowalski, and now, of course, Tyrel Austin.
Kwiatkowski.
Peter Kwiatkowski coming from the Texas Longhorn, coaching your defensive line, and Tyrel Austin joining Nick Rallis. I mean, it's a huge get for this franchise.
Yeah, I don't know if you could have found a better solution that would maybe put the fan base at ease of bringing back Nick Rallis, despite trying to interview his replacement for a fourth season, than bringing in a vet who's been in the league for 20 years, who's been a part of one of the more stable, consistent defenses the last decade, and then some, and also who has coached under Tomlin, has coached under Holmgren, has coached under Marvin Lewis, who is a good defensive mind in his own right. Who am I thinking of? Caldwell, Jim Caldwell. And, of course, as you mentioned, Ken Wisenhunt. So familiar with the building and coming in and joining Kwiatkowski to bring veteran presence on that staff. And it's like, what are the issues? Why has Bilal Nichols, Justin Jones, and now Dalvin Tomlinson come into this building and left the worst football player playing the interior of the defensive line? Well, let's lean on Kwiatkowski and all his knowledge. And then also, when you look at the defense as a whole, you've got Tyrel Austin, who has all this experience on a team that just refused to finish under 500 in the Pittsburgh Steelers. Like if they sustain a back-to-back losses, that staff found a way to get a dub. And I just think, for the 32-year-old Nick Rallis, who a lot of people had high expectations for him to kind of lose his path, this is the perfect guy to get on staff to help get him back on track.
I mean, tough day for, and I'm going to sound like a shill boy, the people who assume like Michael Bidwell won't pay for a good staff. Like I hear a lot. They're like, well, they couldn't get a good staff under JG. They wouldn't pay for it. We know that that's not true. Mm-hmm. We know how they ended up with Justin Fry. I mean, like you and I talked off air. If they just straight up said, Tyrel Austin is our new defensive coordinator, I think all of us would have been like, good hire, good move. Mm-hmm. Let's move on. I mean, like it wouldn't have been the sticker shock of Nick returning. And fair or not, like the question's going to become, if Nick struggles, is this an internal in-house interim DC that could become the permanent DC at some point next year? I don't want to put that on Nick. We're all rooting for Nick to have success. But I think the leash that we thought would be, you'll get through this year and then you'll make a decision. It could be Halloween. It could be Thanksgiving. I mean, Nick doesn't have a lot of allegiances on the staff outside of the position coaches they're retaining defensively. I mean, Tyrel Austin to join this staff, that's a huge gift for this franchise. I saw people snark, jerk off Twitter saying, oh, Steeler fans were celebrating, him leaving. It's the same Steeler fans that, wanted Tomlin gone. And like they wanted a change of scenery. He consistently gets like high-end defensive play. They're giving up 20 points per game. Like, they haven't been the steel curtain. So, like, I would imagine, Cardinal fans, that Steeler fans have different expectations and kind of levels for what they assume their defense is supposed to look like. The Cardinals allowed a comeback route to a guard last year. That's our bar. That's our measuring stick. It's in the flipping toilet. So I got people saying Steeler fans are celebrating his guys. Grow up, wake up. Did you watch the defense in the end of last year? Right. This is a huge hire.
Steelers fans have no point of reference for what it's like being a Cardinals fan. Like, they literally, during Tomlin's, 19 years, didn't finish under 500. They didn't. They don't know what it's like to live in this type of darkness.
No.
Like this is
We were born in it.
right, exactly. So for them to say like we're celebrating the idea that he's gone, it's like that's all well and good. You enjoy Mike McCarthy and his staff that he brings in. Not exactly known for being like these defensive minded teams either. So enjoy that ride. Enjoy like maybe losing a little bit of relevance as far as the NFL landscape after pivoting off of what you thought was bad to keep going in the Steel City for so long with Tomlin and Tyrel Austin. We'll take it. We'll take it and see what it could do for the Cardinals if it can help maybe turn things around.
I'm going to tell you right now, he went to Pittsburgh, I think, as a defensive assistant and secondary coach for 3 years in 2019 to 2021, and quickly became the DC after Keith Butler retired. So, like, it's the same thing, but a different scenario. And again, like, I'm not sitting here and saying he's Robert Saleh, but from where the Cardinals stood, when people are like, can they get NFL people experience to join their staff? Resounding yes. This is a home run hire. It's, in my opinion, this is the best hire of the hiring cycle for Mike LaFleur. And then suddenly it's like, okay, defensive staff looks better on paper. Offensive staff, you got a better play caller, default, and you're a head coach. You got Matt Schaub. You got people we like on the offensive side. This is why they're not going to tank this season. Like, they're trying to win. And a continuation of that starts Monday for free agency. It was a great day for Cardinal fans. You freed up a bunch of cap space, and you got a huge upgrade on your defensive staff.
Yeah, what will come Monday morning, that will be the ultimate determining factor. But Austin, I think, slam dunk hire. He's kind of the Nathaniel Hackett, support system on the defensive side of the football for Nick Rollis. Do we want to get to the super chats now, or we got anything else to cover here?
This is a loaded show. We were going to do our mock off season. Just news just kept coming today. Dalvin, Austin. Let's get to these super chats here. Hayden joined in earlier today. He's been a member for 5 months. Let's go.
Love that.
Bo has lost almost his entire Lunchable in the matter of a season.
Lunch table,
excuse me. Yeah. Lunchables on the brain here at the Venerable household. Who will he eat with now? Tip, Zaven, Baron Browning, and Andre Bocellia.
Wow.
There's an alternate universe where all of those guys aren't on the team this year.
There is. Yeah, Bocellia doesn't have the same supporters in the room any longer. They all exited with the old staff. But look, he survived the cliff change of coaching staff to JG, and maybe he'll make a third one. But it's a question that I wrestle with every night. I appreciate it, Hayden. Thank you for thinking of me. As maybe it's going to be a couple lonely lunches for me.
Let me ask you a question. Cardinals, we think right now the favorite is an edge rusher at 3. You got Jordan Birch, you got Ojulari, you got Josh Sweat. Are Zaven and Baron Browning, are one of them off the team this year?
I think there's a good chance, yes, one of them is gone.
We got a couple new membies.
How about
the Frank? Let's go back to back with Liva. Kid became a YouTube member. Let's go. Then Jenga Man kicking us off. Thank you to our new members. We got more coming in. Being in the same state as Putz dragged down DT.
We're gonna blame Petzing for the defensive line downfall. Okay, it's a bit of a reach.
There's a lot of Here's what I've seen on my timeline the last couple of weeks. A lot of Vikings, Kyler Murray is an MVP. And a lot of Lions, Drew Petzing was held back by Arizona. So there's a lot of NFC North storylines to follow. Whereas poor Gannon, Packer fans, I think we're kind of lukewarm on that hire.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of spin, a lot of trying to dress up some stats. I saw one where they took Kyler and Sam Darnold numbers, but they were all cherry picked numbers.
No, we're not doing that, guys.
No, I was like, but what about these numbers? Hold on. The guy just won a Super Bowl. Let's calm down.
Yeah.
I mean, I like him as a reclamation project, but let's not get crazy. Cardinal Charles. Best case with Willis is he's good and we extend. Agreed.
And maybe he stays cheap. I mean, It's the play. Has to be the play. Got a couple new members. Sir Ramza. Thank you, Sir Ramza. Welcome. And of course, Andrew's joining the fold. Thank you, Andrew. All the new members, bless you all. We appreciate you all. Yeah. We got member-only content dropping. And speaking of member-only, here's we got to Hayden. Let's get to Jackson, $4.99, Bo. My heart says screw everyone and draft Ty Simpson at 3. My brain says we can't draft a QB to save our lives. Too bad Rollis is trash. Would go with Bain Bailey. I think there is some hesitation, but does Bo, these defensive assistants, does it give you more hope that they could get a Bailey and have them produce?
I've never been part of the camp of who your DC is needs to dictate who you take or you don't take. You can't roster build that way. Like if you feel that way about your defensive coordinator, well, go get another one, right? Go get a different one. Like if you say, I can't draft and give this guy who we feel is the best edge rusher in the draft, then you got bigger problems than that. So I would probably, I'm leaning Bailey. I think Bain is somebody who's further down the draft board just because of his arm length.
Jackson, $4.99. Oh, we got to that one. We got to that one. The Frank gets in his first super chat as a member. How much would it be to bring in Wyatt Teller or Braden Smith? And how likely are the Cardinals to bring in either both or one of these players? Well, I think it's very likely, Frank, and I'll let Bo speak on this as well, that the Tomlinson cut today, they need cash, and I expect them to sign a big-name offensive lineman, probably at guard at this point.
I think the tackle class gives you the ability to maybe play the waiting game there, feel like a backup type caliber, sign one of those.
Yeah.
Day 1 or day 2 or later. But I think the guard class is something that Monty Ossenfort has been trying to be to dabble in and be a part of the last couple off seasons and hasn't done it.
Who's the guy last year?
It was Will Fries. He had a 5-year deal with the Minnesota Vikings. And I think the years were the reason that Cardinals got scared off by that. I would say you got 2 options here. David Edwards, play with the Bills.
Yeah.
And then you got Elijah Vera Tucker, who of course was with the Jets. Didn't play last year, but still a decent young player. Obviously came in the league with Mike LaFleur as his OC.
It's got to stay healthy. If you told me Elijah Vera Tucker played 90% of the games next year, I would say sign him immediately. The problem is
it was a triceps thing too. It wasn't like a knee or anything.
Here's the problem though, Bo, is he hasn't played a full season since his rookie year. His second and third year, he played 12 games combined. I don't think anybody's giving him like huge money. I think he could be a little bit more obtainable. And if you want to load it up for 2 years, do that. But I don't think he's getting the 5-year deal. Rangers back with $20. Thank you so much, Ranger. Great to see you, my friend. With Monty failing at free agents, how can this fan base have any hope of him getting it right this offseason in a make or break year for him? Bo, I mean, we talk about it like you kept Monty over Gannon.
Yeah.
Or, in lieu of Gannon. His shortcoming, I mean, his drafts haven't been home runs either, but his free agency periods have been very underwhelming. And if you're in a position of, well, you have to win this year, we're operating, Ranger, and we feel like this is the case. No one's come out and said this. We're operating that Monty Ossenfort has to win games this year as a GM. And if that's the case, I expect him to blow through all of this cap space.
Yeah. I think you've at least seen just a different approach year after year. Like there was this kind of bargain bin shopping, maybe even overspending on average to below average free agents to fill a need and fill out roster spots for that matter. I mean, that was the case as far as what the teardown kind of left you with 23, 24. But now you've got enough draft capital. At least you should have sank enough draft capital in this roster, close to 30 players, that, free agency, you don't have to fill as many needs and you can kind of go quality over quantity. Can he show that aggressiveness in finding kind of those guys that hit the market and are going to be able to make an impact and fill roles?
I think there was a lot of, especially early on, we're going to sign people that we think are comparable to Yelda Froholt and Mac Wilson, and then our coaching staff is going to elevate them.
Yeah.
And it's just that's not the norm in free agency. Those were excellent signings on the cheap for what they were, but you can't build through free agency like that. Like if you're going to spend big money, you got to spend it on the right names. And I actually thought his free agency spree last year was okay. Calais worked out. He was good. Sweat was fantastic. Dalvin was a bust. And, who else? Jacoby was good for what they signed him for.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think the 2024 free agency class, because they didn't sign anybody in 2023. That's not true. Kazir White and Yelda Froholt. Yeah. 2024 was so bad. Mm-hmm. And universally, everybody was a disaster outside of Mac Wilson that it has given us like immense pause of what he can do. He is still lacking that Steve Keim home run acquisition, like the Chandler Jones, the D-Hop, that kind of move. Maybe he does it. I mean, if he signs Malik Willis and Malik Willis is good, that'll be his career defining move up until this point.
Job saving move for sure. How about Brain Dead Steel? Been a member for a month. Love that. JV and Bo, who are your respective dream scenario free agent signings outside of Malik Willis?
I mean, for me, probably like, I mean, like, if this team tells me like we're not signing, we're not drafting Jeremiah Love, like Kenneth Walker, I think would be super fun. Yeah, and then like a top guard, insert a top guard. I don't like the tackles. I really don't like the defensive players outside of some off-ball linebackers and some edge rushers. But like this team's not in the edge rusher market like they were last year. So I would go probably Kenneth Walker.
I'd say Edwards. I mean, I think that the guard. Yeah. Somebody was asking, would he play left or right guard? I think you have Isaiah Adams slotted in there to play right guard, and then you would have Edwards play left. Luminor is the right tackle, or Braden Smith. I would mind that. Can they prove to not be the next Jonah Williams?
Like, listen, if they think Rasheed Walker can play right tackle and he's 26 years old and you're going to get like 2 to 4 really good years from him, like that would be a home run
for sure.
But he's a left tackle, and I would be worried about. I mean, like the right tackle solution is obvious. It's in the draft.
What about Taylor Decker?
It sounds like the Chicago Bears.
Oh yeah,
of course. Yeah, I saw something before the show that they're.
So he would play right.
No, they don't have a left tackle. Bears don't have a left tackle.
Got it.
Like
that makes sense.
The Cardinals don't really need to spend big on a tackle because they have the most important tackle position secure.
How come the Lions couldn't trade Decker?
I don't know. That would be a terrible move for them to cut him if he goes to Chicago. I mean, like what I saw that today, and I'm like, you're already behind the 8 ball when it comes to Drew. You lose Taylor Decker, and they don't have a replacement in house. I don't care how good Penei Sewell is. Sorry, Noah. Noah, plug your ears. You lose a top running back in your backfield.
Yeah.
You lose your left tackle. Your skill players are semi-irrelevant with Drew. I mean, I started to see some cracks there, and suddenly the Drew hire seems a little bit more effed up. I mean, I see that, AZ Moses. The Lions released him per his request. Like, I would have been telling him, like, to kick dirt. Like, that we're trying to build a team here.
Yeah. Can I put Noah on blast just for one quick hot second?
Of course. Yeah, please.
What is a Michigan born and bred boy like him celebrating his Lion fandom in that picture? Why is he wearing a dirty, filthy Chicago White Sox hat?
It's a great question.
I mean, just such a non-threatening team that you're just like, I like the hat. It's cool.
I mean, that might be the Cardinals equivalent, but they won a World Series.
I'm a what do you call it? Luis Robert fan.
Okay. Southsider.
Yeah, I thought he was a good player.
If they signed Braden Smith, like, how would you feel about that?
I'd be there for it.
I mean, like, what are his numbers? Like,
he's decent in pass protection. Needs a lot of help, I guess, in run blocking.
Oh, his PFF numbers stink. I know that's not the end of the world, but that's where and this is where I'll give Bo a little bit of grace, is that if these offensive, credit, whatever you want to call it, if these offensive line numbers are Looney Tunes, then yes, you are. Mauanoa makes a lot of sense if you deem him worthy of the 3rd overall pick. But you're going to have to pay him eventually and Paris at the same time. And that's going to be costly as well. $2 Loso. Yeah. Jimmy, at least I know what I'm getting. Ass. I mean, it's bad. You're getting bad play.
Right. The devil you know versus the devil you don't know.
What the dog doing?
Keeping it going.
Next up here is Corey, $10, Bo. We have to take Love. Never had a running back with 3 seasons in a row with 1,000 yards in Arizona history. What is the drop-off between Francis and the potential tackles in round 2 or a trade up at the end of round 1? That has been my argument, Corey, is that Maui Noah is closer to the 2nd tier of tackles in comparison to what I believe is a Hall of Fame caliber running back. And then Arvell Reese is a tweener off-ball linebacker. So then it's just like, what do we?
Can you switch up how you describe Jeremiah Love? Because calling it's not even fair to the young man coming out of Notre Dame to say Hall of Fame caliber running back. You'd say like perennial Pro Bowler, all pro in the making.
Jeremiah Love pro comp. I'm going to pull up the first thing that I look at here.
But I disagree because I think that the difference between Maui Noah and the rest of the tackle class is Maui Noah gives you plug-and-play starter ability, where the other guys are more projects.
His pro comp is Alvin Kamara. Alvin Kamara is going to be a Hall of Famer. Probably.
Probably not. I think he's going to be in the Hall of Very Good.
Let me see if I can find
this. Kamara even have 100 total tutties?
Alvin Kamara?
Yeah.
Let me check. I mean,
okay. Well, you check. I'm going to continue to go through these super chats. You guys crushed it. How about we got rocker vocalist AZ
86
Hendrickson. How many? 86. Okay.
So
probably not going to add 14 more before the end.
Maybe
probably not. Hendrickson, tackle, guard, and free agency. That's why they're premium positions, and they're all going to cost you a pretty penny.
I think their Trey Hendrickson days are behind them. Yeah. So we reported last year, Rocker. So if you can remember the trading deadline in 2024 when they took on Baron Browning, and we did not like that trade. And that our take has aged well, by the way. They called on Parsons, they called on Hendrickson, they called on Myles Garrett, and they called on Max Crosby. None of them were available. Then last offseason, they called on Hendrickson and then didn't like the price tag. I think they were asking for like 2-1, something stupid. So then they signed Josh Sweat and they got 12 sacks from him. And they paid him over $20 million a year. I just don't see them. Like, even if you don't take an edge rusher 3rd overall, I still think you've got enough with a competent coaching staff defensively. It's like Sweat, and then the opposite side, Birch, Ojulari, and probably a draft pick. Like, that should be enough. Like, this team right now has glaring holes other places. Like, there are young players that I would like to see play on the defensive line. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
I'm not giving Trey Hendrickson, who got hurt last year, a big contract. I think
now he's another year older. What was he, 31 back then? Now he's 32.
I mean, the Bengals botched that. Who would have thought? Stupid.
It's me, Babadook, $20. Thank you so much. Always love this profile pic. It's a cute little dog getting all the sports team in the markets microphones up. Nice post game with the dog. The podcast is on every day in our house, and my fiance has gone from, quote, what can they possibly be talking about today to what did Bo and Johnny talk about today? Keep up the good work. We appreciate you.
Wife her up. Smart move on your part.
Yeah, way to put a ring on it. Follow through with the nuptials. Get it done. Make an honest woman of her. And we appreciate you spreading the word of PHNX Cardinals throughout your house. And now, as you've gotten through to your future wife, if somebody could get through to mine, we do a good show over here.
It's tough. My wife, you know how she is. It's like Robert Saleh, we're going to get him. She's like, no, you're not. I haven't even told her about Malik because I'm worried she's going to come out and be like, you're not getting Malik.
Whatever, Noah. You know what you can do with that sound machine. You can tell you where you can take it. How about Corey's back? Bidwell sold his team. Now get Bidwell to do the same.
Who's Bidwell?
I don't know. I got to do some research on that one. I missed that, Corey.
Michael Bidwell will never willingly sell the Arizona Cardinals until he doesn't have anybody to pass the team down to, doesn't have an heir. So maybe, and then his siblings are of around the same age. So it's going to be with the French. It's going to be with the family for at least another, I would say at least another 15, 20 years. They're not going to willingly sell it. Ranger, $10. So with this new DC, AC is so Nick is on the hot seat. I mean, yeah, we knew that before the season. But here's the thing. I think Nick's really smart, and I think he'll listen. The only hesitation is just I think Jonathan Gannon's a good defensive coach. Why could the two of them not figure it out last year?
Right. Yeah, I mean, he's not going to have a very long leash. And I mean, they offered the job to two different people.
Yeah, that we know of, at least different people.
Keeping it going, and we're rooting for Nick. How about Brian P? Any news on Max Melton? You know, that's interesting you asked that, Brian, because as we kind of put probably the prospects of Jacoby Brissett getting traded to rest, I think Max Melton is probably the most likely Cardinal that could be dealt this offseason.
I wouldn't do it. He's too talented. He's young. Nick, if it's Nick versus Max Melton, no disrespect to Nick, Max is a second-round pick. You need Max Melton. Denzel Burke, Max Melton, Will Johnson, Starling Thomas is coming back. We don't know about Garrett. Keitrell Clark. I got corners. Tommy, the Titan, $4.99. I've seen Bo is so against Love in the draft, and I agree we need to build the trenches, but we're going to suck anyway. So let's have a cool offense. Laugh out loud.
At least you're willing to admit there's no logic or team building
I
approach.
think that's what he's saying.
He's Jeremiah Love that it'd be fun. Hey, that'd be neat. I appreciate that, Tommy the Titan. Thank you for basically saying I'm right and Johnny's wrong. Iron Will goes on a run here. Let's rip.
All right, you fire these off.
Yeah, part one. So with Tomlinson, now we have $50 million in effective cap. So no extra $5 million post June 1st, or Dalvin means they are going to hit 3 major free agent moves.
Yeah. So 3 major moves. Then he goes on to say $5 if they go Malik Willis, OT, and guard in free agency with no running back. Then Love is happening at 300%. Willis, Love might give us number 1 rushing offense in the NFL. I agree with that. $5 from Iron Will again continues. Given that above fantasy outlook, if that happened, when do you say it makes a deeper run in 2026, Kyler or Willis? That's the question. I would still give it to Kyler because of the infrastructure Kevin O'Connell has, and they have a better team overall. But I think it's so interesting, Iron Will, if they come out and let's say they get Malik for $15 million.
Yeah.
Okay. And they make these other cuts, James Conner, Evan Brown, Sean Murphy-Bunting, and they sign a starting right tackle of note and a starting guard, and they don't sign a running back, print the shirts. I mean, Bo's going to be on cope.com every day we're doing the show because it will be happening and we will be celebrating. So, yeah, I mean, next week's a very big a week of movement one way or the other for the Love train.
Well, just overlooking David Bailey just like that, huh? Okay. All right. But great questions there from Iron Will. Good little run. How about Book's Journey? He's been a member for 2 months. Thank you for that type of loyalty. Fantastic. Do they sign a big name defensive tackle in free agency after cutting Tomlinson and losing Calais, we would presume?
The best available D tackle in the free agent market is Jonathan Franklin Myers, who sounds like he's going to Tennessee. And also he was a nothing burger before this past year. The defensive tackles of note are older. Doesn't mean they can't contribute, but there's no marquee D tackle that is like 25 to 27 that was going to command like $100 million. Like that, Bo, unless I'm missing something, like I don't think that person exists this year.
Yeah, as you kind of, the approach is probably 1-year rentals and then hopefully getting a toolsy prospect in the draft.
I have to take 2 of them.
No, I mean, like you get one good guy that you hit on, and then you fill around the gaps. Probably a good approach.
Does Jordan Birch move inside too? Something we might explore.
I don't think so.
Wow, rude. Just completely.
He's too athletic. How about Sir Ramza? Winning starts with leadership from the top. Hiring an experienced consultant puts pride aside, and that's how we get this boat turned around.
I mean, like I think there was some pride from Gannon, specifically Sir Ramza, on like, I can be the elder statesman of the staff, and I'm going to develop younger coaches. And I think it was done with good intentions, but I think he made mistakes not adding a Mike Munchak, a Mike Zimmer, senior defensive consultants. And in hindsight, like I think 2 things inevitably led to his downfall. His coaching staff and maybe the training staff, which, by the way, I don't know if you've heard, like Cardinals have wiped out the training staff on their website, and nobody's there anymore.
Yeah, I asked Monty about that at the combine. He said that's something that they're figuring out. So that did kind of point to some change. Yeah. With Andy on Twitter that it pointed that out. How about keeping it going with AZ Moses? If they sign a veteran guard, will they take Evan Brown's spot, left guard, and swing the right guard, pair with a rookie right tackle, or do they sign a veteran edge opposite Sweaty J?
I don't think they're signing a veteran edge, and like we talked about, I think Evan Brown last year, I mean, he was almost as bad as Jonah Williams. Like Jonah Williams and Evan Brown were probably 2 of the more disappointing members of the team, and the drop off after Clayton left with some of these guys. I mean, it's still Justin Fry, so. I mean, it's not Clayton Adams again. So Evan Brown, I expect to be cut. I mean, it's just too expensive for a guy who just really underperformed last year.
Yeah. How about Liva Kills? Liva Kills, run it back with Bam Knight and Michael Carter. What could go wrong?
That's what Bo wants. Bo wants the all Jag running back room. Just guys making vet minimum. We don't know their name. They're all wearing like numbers in the 30s and the 40s. And that's what Bo wants. 3 yards and a cloud of dust.
Hey, number 1's available, man. Get a cool back and give him number 1 jersey now.
Number 4 is available too. See you, Greg Dortch.
Hey, be respectful. It's my former co-host, my favorite co-host, Antonio PHX. When I saw Ty Simpson's height, no more shorties.
I just don't think it's in the cards for him this year. I saw some. He's not a dirtbag, but the guy from Walter Football who's like, Cardinals are hot on Ty Simpson. Shut up. You don't know.
Who said that?
This guy from Walter Football.
Oh, that guy. One of the worst. If you follow that guy, don't follow him.
Somebody was quote tweeting him like, this guy doesn't know anything.
The guy that called Mina Kimes a DEI hire.
Yeah, that guy stinks. He's got like a smush face. Get him out of here.
Never even seen his face. I know who he uses his kind of Cardinal source, and it should tell you everything. And it's your guy Jarecki. Keeping it going.
Perfect.
How about Brian P? Are we gonna have $220 million in cap space in 2027? Extend Paris and Wilson. Get people on 2 to 3 deals. Fight for your damn job, Monty.
He's right. I mean, like, Kyler's gonna be off your books, and your team's gonna be set. And you've drafted so many rookies. Like, who's getting extensions? Like Paris and Michael. And that's probably about it, unless like Dante steals a cute little extension. We'll see what happens to Garrett Williams. Like, I mean, like, is Marv? Are some of these guys getting their 5th-year option? Darius, like, you're gonna have so much money. This team needs to be aggressive, and like Brian, I think everything this week has suggested like they're spending money next week. They have to. The team stinks. They got to get better.
Brian P's back. Maui Noah plays and helps today. Wills is 6'1", not 6'5". Protect him. Star running back with no O-line. His big arms and chicken legs build. Need good offensive line first.
I like David Bailey. I think he's the best option for the team. But I also think, like, how much is this team going to be leading to get, like, sacks when the team's got to throw? Maui is fine if that's the route they take. But, like, I need some juice in the back. I need some playmakers. I need some playmakers here. Some guys that are like, I love Trey, Mike, and Marv, but they're not, speed guys that can break a game open. And I do think Malik Willis has got a hell of an arm. Like, you want to push that ball downfield. But Brian, here's where I'll back you up. Is like, I think all the resources this offseason should go to the offense. Push them all in the offense. Give Mike a fighting chance. Because aren't you going to feel good if, like, this team shows some fight and the offense is like top 15, top 12, and people are like, oh, Mike's good at his job.
Yeah. All right. Wrapping it up here with Iron Will. Helping JV on the tackle running back debate. Last 11 years, Super Bowl appearances, 40% of the running backs were first-round picks. 18% offensive line guys were first-round picks. That's less than 1 per 5-man front. We have 1 already.
I will double down on that. You have a first-round top 10 pick at left tackle. Mm-hmm. You've got a top 10 center that you've invested in Yelda Froholt. You've got a third-round top 80 pick at guard. You're going to let's just assume they sign a big ticket guard that you're going to be paying $60 million to. Mm-hmm. I mean, like, people are going to be like, invest in the O-line. They have. It's not a bunch of C and D players here.
Yeah.
I think they just need better coaching and better schemes. And I think they're going to get that with Mike.
So let's do the math here. Go back, please.
He lost it.
40% of the running backs on Super Bowl teams the last 11 years. So Saquon in that second team that drafted him, couldn't make it work beyond a wild card win, that one run for the Giants. So we're going to count Saquon. Is that a success story? Well, being drafted by the Giants second overall and it turning into one playoff win.
Hang on.
Another one of them would be Christian McCaffrey. Same story. Drafted the Carolina Panthers. One playoff appearance. He was on the San Francisco 49ers who were in the Super Bowl. Who else are we going to bring up? We're going to bring up Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He was a first-round pick. Sure, he probably adds to that statistic, but does that make you feel like warm and fuzzy about that stat, that there's more running backs percentage that were taken in the first round than tackles? As far as team building goes and what the position of value there is, like the tackles, just look at the franchise tag. $25 million to tag a franchise tackle or offensive lineman, where it's $14 million to get a running back. It's just viewed way more valuable to take a tackle in the first round. It gives you an edge team building wise.
Saquon was drafted in 2018 above multiple quarterbacks, including Darnold and Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. The Cardinals wouldn't do that. I wouldn't advocate for the Cardinals to do that. I think you have to look at it at face value of the draft where he's in by comparison. If there was a Myles Garrett, if there was a Penei Sewell, if there was a Josh Allen or a Drake May or somebody like that, you flip and take that guy. I think the argument that I and many are making are, if David Bailey goes second, which is a possibility, Arvell Reese, you and I feel like, is an off-ball linebacker. Sonny Styles plays off-ball linebacker. You're not taking a wide receiver. You're not taking Caleb Downs, a safety. So then it's like, what do you do? And let's assume nobody wants to trade up. It's going to be Maui Noah versus Jeremiah Love. And Maui Noah has to be, in your mind, a rock-solid 10-year right tackle, could make a Pro Bowl, is a second and third contract guy. If that's the case, I have no issue with it. Mm-hmm. They've got a grade on Maui Noah that's like, he's a right tackle, but maybe he's going to be a better guard, or the gap between him and the rest of the tackles is minimal. Then if they have Jeremiah Love as a prospect that can help you in the pass game and the run game, what are we talking about here? It's all, I'm not going off of past drafts. I'm going off of this draft. And everybody tells us this draft is weak at the top with blue chippers. David Bailey and Francis Maui Nolan notwithstanding, if the group that I just named is what you're picking from, then you have to consider it. You have to.
But consider this. The Giants probably said the same damn thing when they took him second overall.
No,
we don't need a quarterback. Don't need a quarterback. We are going because we took Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones went the next year.
Whatever. They had Eli Manning, whatever.
Oh my God. No, it's not. You can't even do this. It's not even the same thing. It's not the same thing.
They didn't want a quarterback. So they made the mistake and they said, who's the best player available? And they convinced themselves that it was okay to take a running back. It was not. That's the whole argument against it.
They took Saquon over Bradley Chubb, Josh Allen, Sam Darnold. I mean, Mike McGlinchey. I mean, there were players.
You're going to take the Giants' bad team building approach and say that's okay.
That was a historic class. It's not a comparison. Okay, let's look at last year's class. Okay, let me pull up 2025 NFL draft. Okay, where Ashton Genty, and I did not like Ashton Genty, was picked, and he was picked ahead of Membu, T-Mac, Kelvin Banks. If that was this year, I would not advocate for it. And I didn't like him last year. And last year you had Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter, Will Campbell, Mason Graham. If those guys were in this draft, if Mason Graham was in this draft, I would say take Mason Graham. It's all predicated on the players that are available. If they're answer me this. If David Bailey goes second overall, is there a premier edge rusher to take at 3?
Probably no.
Is there a premier 5 or 3 technique defensive tackle? No. Is there a number 1 corner? No. Is there a Penei Sewell-esque tackle prospect? No. Is there a Julio Jones level wide receiver?
There is a starting caliber tackle in the draft.
We're gonna listen. It could be the pick. I'm not arguing that.
You're using examples of the Giants and the Raiders. I mean,
no, I'm comparing.
Makes my point.
Drafts. We're gonna see next week. I mean, I think you're gonna end up being correct in what they do.
Yeah,
but you're flipping. You better hold on for dear life this fall. If we're watching Red Zone and this team is ass again, and Jeremiah Love goes to Tennessee or Cleveland or somewhere like that, and it's oh my God, there's Jim Brown mixed with Alvin Kamara, and it's just great, awesome.
I like how he added Jim Brown to it because he didn't think the Kamara thing was enough juice. Corey's back. Bidwell spelling was a joke on how people spell it. I do think he is moving in the right direction with the new facility and paying coaches now.
Bo and I are in the minority where Bidwell has faults and he's made plenty of mistakes. They need better players and they need better coaching. And he has not been involved in that the last several years. You want to make an argument like Keim and everything that went down with Cliff and everything? Sure, 100%. Monty Ossenford and Jonathan Gannonbo have run the football operations for 3+ years.
Yeah.
And they have 15 wins. And Gannon would tell us at nauseum off air, he has everything he needs to win here. But I mean, yeah, the facilities are a joke and they should have been updated forever ago.
How about Rangers back? NFC North is going to be fun next season. Gannon in Green Bay, Petzing in Detroit, Murray in Minnesota. I didn't even think about that.
I'm glad. I just need space from all those people minus Gannon. I just need space from all those people. It'd be great to see JG at joint practices if we go.
We got a lot of Midwest chances. We got to figure out which one we're going to go. We're going to go to the Hall of Fame game. Are we going to go to the joint practices? Are we going to go to both?
We're going to try. Brian, $5. I bet Bo had a great diversified, safe portfolio. JV got Pokemon cards and Star Wars dolls for his retirement plan. There's a lot of truth to that. Running back 3rd overall, right tackle. I kid, JV.
We're Costco guys.
Why is that the bite?
Oh man,
I'm responsible financially. I also want good and fun players for this franchise and this fan base, and this franchise needs Jeremiah Love. They just do.
Iron Will, did I mention Jeremiah Love is a superhero?
Here's what I'm going to tell Iron Will. Enjoy it now. Watch Cardinal fans who want it. Watch the YouTube highlights this weekend. Take it all in because it could all be dead next week. We could be dead ski. It's like James Conner's coming back or Kenneth Gainwell or some mid signings. And it's just like no O-line, no right tackle. And it's just like, yeah, that's probably what's going to happen. So we got this week. We'll always have this weekend.
Man, maybe a new quarterback come Monday.
Better, like, not maybe. Like, let's do predictions. Number one, will you freak out if they don't have a quarterback Monday? I will.
Yeah, there will be. I'll have strongly worded takes come Monday if it comes and goes, and Malik Willis is wearing a different uniform, and there's no QB solution.
What's your prediction? Officially official, as Jenga Man says, Noah Soundboard has putts third and long call variety.
What the Sigma?
I think Willis maybe a lower price than anticipated
to the Cardinals.
I'm
going to go Malik Willis to the Cardinals, 2 years, $35 million with incentives to make it over 40. And that's career-changing money for Malik. Give him as much guarantees as he wants. Cardinals can spend it. And I think Malik Willis signs with the Cardinals the minute free agency opens, 9 a.m. I think we get it like right after. I think
it might be a little bit later than that.
I think it's done. When is Kyler getting released, by the way? When is that
officially released on the start of the new year? But I don't know if within tampering, maybe they can negotiate with him. I'd have to figure that out.
Interesting. That not going to impact.
I mean, they're going to hang on
to the last.
I mean, if they got a Willis, it would crush like any leverage, unless it's like the Jets, like you're just going to release him and he's going to go sign with the Vikings.
I don't think they have leverage to keep him. I think it's leverage of like which team's going to trade for him.
Yeah. Desert Vulture, QB driven league, no legit QB. What do you think? MHJ, Wilson, Dortch, McBride will do? Gone.
The spin that Monty would have to do in like a presser saying like Jacoby played good football for us last year, like people would be enraged.
Yeah.
People would be enraged. It's going to be Malik. I'll say Malik Willis or Tyson Bagent. I'll say one of those two guys. Because like the more you think about it, how close is Jacoby to Derek Carr and Kirk Cousins at this point? Like, are they very similar at this stage, or do you think there's upside with those other two guys?
I mean, I think there's maybe a slight edge to Jacoby, but then there's obviously an edge between Jacoby and starting quarterbacks in this league.
Yeah. I just think like if you're going to add another QB with Jacoby, it has to be somebody with youth and upside. And whether that's Bagent or Malik Willis, that has to be the play. If they trade from a Tyson Bagent though, and they give up a top 100 pick, I won't be on the show Monday. That'll be it for your boy.
That's it. That's the straw that broke the camel's back.
Tyson Bagent.
He'll be our new best friend.
Better be football Jesus if they're giving up a top 100 pick for him. Need those picks.
104? About 104.
That's fine. Hit the like button. Subscribe to PHNX Sports here on YouTube. What classifies an emergency pod? James Conner cut?
Do we want it? Yeah, I mean, we could set that. I don't know. There's a lot of moving parts this weekend. Wife's out of town. I'm on.
Oh, that's right.
New kid daddy duty.
Pray for Bo.
I'd love to go live. Like we could do a Saturday show once the kids go to bed as I tell everybody what's going on, or we could do Sunday. Sure. But also we're going to be live in the exclusive member Discord all Monday too. And then like once something worthy of emergency pod goes down, we'll be live right on these airwaves.
James Conner getting cut feels more plausible now with Dalvin getting cut too.
Restructure to cut. I'd be shocked to see him play at that number, especially when we talk to Garafolo and he's like, these running backs are going to have a reality check as far as what their markets are this year. I mean, he thinks Kenneth Walker is going to get less than, Breece Hall was going to get a franchise tag under $14 million a year. You got James, who's going to play at 9.
I think James, they don't want to be disrespectful, but it just feels like Gannon was a big proponent for James. Kyler and James were close. Just like let Mike pick his own back.
I like this from Mike D. He's a viewer too, and he's just like, let's just hit it hard Monday.
That's fine. It's fine. Beijing could be traded at any point.
Yeah.
That could have happened already.
Yeah, but the quarterback market, like is Mike G's point out, it's like Willis, Kyler, some dominoes need to fall before teams are like, we need to trade. We need to pull off a trade.
Do you think, real quick, that he's correct and like Kyler has to sign before Willis has to sign? I don't agree with that.
No, especially with the Cardinals being the team that would sign Willis.
Only check RB's cash in our reality checks.
Beautifully said.
Jeremiah.
Hit that like if you haven't already. Become a supporter. So many supporters added today. How about Hayden celebrating 5 months? Others celebrating 1, 2, 3 months. It's a huge, incredible community that we are just honored to be a part of, and can't wait to bring you any kind of news that breaks regarding this team. It's a fun week next week. Let's hope we keep that energy.
Maybe.
But in the meantime, get out to Phoenix Raceway, go to a spring training game, touch some grass, get that refreshing, air outside, and then just get inside with us all the week next week. It's going to be a big one. For Noah and Johnny and Mike Garafolo, I'm Bo. We'll talk to you soon right here on PHNX Cardinals.
We all silly like the mayor.